Third graders, welcome to another video with you, Marwa Shazli.
Comprehension. How to analyze the text. Use these pages to learn about story structure and analyzing illustrations. Then read A Fine, Fine School again to apply what you learned.
طيب هنا هناخد تكنيك جديد اسمه story structure أو تركيب الستوري. ايه العناصر بتاعة الستوري؟ تمام، فاحنا هنشوف نستري الستوري structure، بعد كده نقرأ A Fine, Fine School again one more time، وبعدين نطبق اللي احنا درسناه.
Story structure. In a fine, fine school, you read about Tilly and her school. You also read about the school's principal, Mr. Keene, and his plans.
Read about the school principal, who was Mr. Keene, and his plans for studying.
Where the story takes place is called the setting.
Yeah.
The people in the story are the characters. Last of all, everything that happens in a story is called the plot.
So here we study three main elements, which are هما three main elements: setting أو place اللي بيحصل فيه story، characters اللي هما people، والplot اللي هي incidents أو what happens in the story.
Story structure. In a fine, fine school, you read about Tilly and her school. You also read about the school's principal, Mr. Keene, and his plans. Where the story takes place is called the setting. The people in the story are the characters. Last of all, everything that happens in a story is called the plot. The events that make up the plot often happen because of how the characters act and what they say.
البلوت بتحصل من events أو الأحداث اللي المفروض characters بيعملوها، and what they say اللي بالحاجات اللي بيقولوها.
Look back at page 20 in A Fine, Fine School. In this section of text, you find out what the problem will be. As you keep reading, watch how the problem grows and how it is solved by the characters. Setting. Characters. Plot. Beginning, middle, ending.
So if we applied A Fine, Fine School to the story structure هنعرف ان setting بتحصل في school mainly، وممكن نقول at Tilly's house. characters هم تيلي ومستر كين، و we can add Teddy's brother, teachers, and other students. The plot at the beginning, the students were very good and learned at school, so Mr. Keene was so proud of them and decided to extend يعني mid the school to include the weekends. Of course everyone was upset, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene. ما كانش حد عارف يقول Mr. Keene ازاي. في الميدل حصل ايه تاني؟ He tried again. Mr. Keene was so proud and he wanted the students to learn everything, so he extended the school year to include summer, so they can learn everything. Of course, no one didn't know how to tell Mr. Keene that they don't like that, and there are some other things outside of the school that they can learn. Teddy got upset because she couldn't teach her brother how to skip. She couldn't teach her dog how to sit. She couldn't spend time in the tree. So she decided to speak to Mr. Keen about this, and she told him not everything could be learned at school. Some things we can learn outside of the school, like how to skip, how to sit the dog, to make the dog sit, how to sit in a tree, how to ride a bike, how to brush our teeth. So all of these happen outside of the school. Okay. Now analyze illustrations. أو إزاي هنحلل pictures.
Analyze illustrations. Illustrations are drawings or artwork that show the events of a story. Illustrations can also tell you more about the story. For example, they can help you figure out the mood or feeling of the story.
So here illustrations اللي هم pictures، الصور والdrawings، الرسومات، زي ما شفنا في الستوري بتاعتنا، إن هم جابوا girls were carrying heavy books and they got exams, and one boy was brushing his teeth at school beside his locker because there was no time. And the mood, which is the feeling، إحساس الكاركترز إيه، they were very upset at the beginning because of the extension of the school year. كانوا متضايقين، المود كان very gloomy and sad. Then at the end, when Mr. King decided to go back to the normal school days, they were very happy.
Turn back to the illustration on pages 16 through 17. Look at the children's happy faces. Notice that the students are all doing something interesting. The illustration shows a happy mood. No one is gloomy or sad. Your turn.
ده دورك.
Return to the essential question.
Okay, essential and main questions. يلا بينا نقرا كده. Turn and talk.
Turn and talk. Review the story with a partner to prepare to discuss this question. How is learning at school different from learning at home? As you talk, take turns reviewing and explaining the important ideas in your discussion. Use clues from a fine school or text evidence to support your ideas.
Okay, we here know how's learning at school different from learning at home. We can learn at school about China, history, grammar, about the world, but outside of the school we can learn other things like brushing our teeth, how to ride a bike, how to sit in a tree, how to skip. All these life skills which we learn outside of the school is as important as نفس الأهمية what we learn at school. Okay, like we learn history, we learn languages, and we learn math and science. Now here.
Classroom conversation. Continue your discussion of a fine school by explaining your answers to these questions. 1. Why does Mr. Keene start changing the days that school is held? 2. What finally makes Tilly talk to Mr. Keene about going to school all the time? 3. Do you think the author agrees more with Tilly or with Mr. Keene about learning? Use text evidence to explain your answer.
Okay, regarding question 1, why does Mr. Keen start changing the days that school is held? هو ليه قرر يغير الأيام? Because he was so proud of the children and the happening and the learning that was happening inside the school. He said that it was a fine school, fine teachers, and fine students. So he decided to extend the school to include Sundays and Saturdays, which were the weekends, because he wants all the students to learn more things. 2. What finally makes Tilly talk to Mr. Keen about going to school all the time? Because she felt upset. هي قررت تتكلم لأنها she felt upset. كانت زعلانة and all the teachers and students because they want to have their vacation, summer vacation. They want to learn some new things outside of the school. Like she wanted to teach her brother how to skip. She wanted to learn how to sit in a tree, and she wanted to teach her dog how to sit. Do you think the author agrees more with Tilly or with Mr. Keen about learning? I think the author agrees with Tilly about learning because he explains that some other learning happen outside of the school خارج المدرسة, which is as important as the things that we learn inside the school, like skipping, how to learn to skip, to ride a bike, to sit in a tree, to teach the dog how to sit, and so on.
Write about reading. Response. Tilly helps Mr. Keen see that some important things are learned outside of school. What are some important things you learn outside of school? Why are they important? List 3 or more things and write your opinion about why each is important.
Okay, so I think that some important things we can learn outside of the school, like how to ride a bike, because we can use the bike to go to school and other places. We can learn how to brush our teeth inside our houses, and our parents can teach us how to brush our teeth, of course, to keep our teeth healthy and strong and undamaged. We can learn also how to make our bed, like we put pillows in the correct order, in the correct place, and we put the quilt and so on. So we can learn how to skip, we can learn how to ride a bike, we can learn how to brush our teeth to keep them healthy, we can learn how to take care of our room, like making our bed. Okay.
Writing tip. State the things you learn outside of school at the beginning of your response. Then give a reason why each one is important. End your response with a statement that sums up your ideas.
And like I said, I think learning at home is as important as learning at school. I can learn how to brush my teeth to keep my teeth clean and healthy. I learn how to make my bed so my room looks tidy and clean. I can learn how to ride a bike to use it to go some places I want to go. I can learn how to sit in a tree and enjoy myself in the free time. Thank you, dear students, for taking the time to learning about the story structure, which is a reading technique. Take care of this and study well. See you in another video. Bye.